Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to formative assessment 3 for module 2. The unit standard number is 242816, 242816. Question number 1 in the formative section is define the term meetings in your own words. So what on earth is a meeting? In your own words, describe what a meeting is. So then if you do that, that's question 1A. Question number 1B, identify and describe the two main types of meetings. So on page number 4, you will see that there are two types of meetings. One follows like quite a strict agenda and format, the other one not so much. So what do they call those two types of meetings? Then 1C, assume a finance department wants to hold its monthly progress meeting. List examples of attendees who should attend that meeting. If you think of a typical finance department, who would be invited to a monthly progress meeting? So think about those people and list them as to who you think should be attending. Then we go to question 2. Question 2A. What is an agenda? Define the term agenda. So that's on page number 12. You'll hear about agendas and what the term agenda means. Then B, explain the purpose of writing a meeting agenda and defining the outcomes of a meeting. So what is the purpose of putting an agenda together? Well, if you go to page number 15, they will give you the purpose of an agenda and defining the outcomes of a meeting. Then we go to question number 3. What is the purpose of recording and keeping records of what transpired in a meeting? So if we think about that, we're normally going to be coming back to meeting minutes. So what is the purpose of writing minutes for a meeting? So question number 3, what is the purpose of minutes in a meeting? Now, you know how important minutes are. So if you go to page number 31 and 32, you will see what the benefits of having minutes are. Then question number 4, identify and describe techniques that a meeting chairperson can use to create progress in a meeting. So they need to use certain techniques in order to push the meeting going forward, making sure that people are keeping to the point, making sure that they are hitting all the agenda items and that we are coming to some kind of resolution. But there are sort of subtle techniques, and they are explained on page number 29. And so just list those, okay, and then give me some indication of what they are. Okay, so what is a summarizing decision, and etc., etc., etc. Great. Then question number 5. This is where you are going to run a role play meeting for your team or your colleagues. Okay, so you are firstly going to identify the purpose and objective of this meeting. So let's say it's to do a team building. That's why we are going to have this meeting. We're going to set up a team building, and that's why we're doing it. Then prepare a full agenda for the meeting. So maybe we need to go venue. We've got to decide on the venue, decide on the dates. Are we going to allow children and partners? What are we going to do there? What are we going to eat there? Who is going to do what? That is our agenda. Then you are going to run that meeting, okay, in front of your teammates or colleagues. Then then you need to record the meeting and write draft minutes, which summarize your discussions, actions proposed, and the defined completion time frames. Okay, so in other words, use the agenda points, make notes about each agenda point, put that onto a document which acts as your minutes, and then also put in all the action plans that you have agreed to, attach these minutes in your POE. Then explain how you are going to check the minutes in order to ensure that they are accurate, a reflection of meeting discussion. So maybe you're going to pass it around to the teammates before you actually finalize them, or you're going to listen to the audio recording of the meeting that you had, or you are going to make sure that everything is concise and check for accuracy amongst the details that were described. So how are you going to make sure that it's accurate? And then I want you to also look back on how you ran that meeting and decide on any places that you might need to improve on. Maybe you need to be more assertive. Maybe you didn't follow the agenda. Maybe one person dominated the discussion. Maybe certain people didn't add to the discussion. So how would you make it better for next time? Now, when you are doing this meeting, I'm going to ask that you find one person who is going to fill in your evaluation checklist. So remember, this is going to be on page number 10. So here is your name and your surname, your ID number, your company name. This is question number 5. The date is the date that you do this meeting, and the time is the time that you did it. Then, does everyone understand the purpose of the meeting? If they did, they're going to tick it. Is the agenda followed? If they did, they're going to tick it. So if you've completed your meeting successfully, you will have all of those as ticks. Any general comments that your colleague or teammate would like to give to you, then the date that you had it, the time that you started, and the time that you completed that specific meeting. Then what I'll do is once you've done that, then I will sign as an endorsee, okay, of that specific exercise. And then you should be done with the formative section. Okay, so that is to question 5 is the formative section. Now we are going to move to the summative section. All right, so the summative section should be around page number is it? No, here we go. Okay, so if we want to go to the summative section, we go to page number 16. Page number 16, and so I will go with you. The first one is explain the purpose of recording meetings. Now, again, we said in the formative section that it's important to have minutes. So we're going to use the same section to read that. So page number 31 tells us the purpose of recording meetings, page 31. Then explain techniques that a meeting chairperson can use to implement to overcome lack of meeting progress due to differing views and opinions amongst attendees. Now, on page number 28 and 29, they give you quite clear things that you need to do in order to make sure that everyone is going to add value to those specific meetings. So there are 4 things, and try and implement those 4 things, but write those 4 things down from page 28 and 29. Then explain how meeting supporting documents can be assessed and checked for accuracy and completeness. So that we can get on page 38 and 39 as to how supporting documents can be assessed and checked for accuracy and completeness. Then question number 4, what you are to do is to find a set of minutes that you have been in the meeting for. So let's say it was a transparency meeting or a safety meeting or a quality meeting or a change of an SOP, and you were in the meeting and they sent out minutes. So what I want you to do is to get that minutes, attach it to your POE, but then you need to evaluate it. Are the minutes accurate? So you say, look, I've checked all the dates, I've checked the times, I've checked the action plan, and everything is accurate. Are the minutes complete? And then you say, oh, we did talk about this and that wasn't added. Or we did get an action plan, but no one's got the responsibility. So who is responsible? So tell me why it's not complete or why it's not accurate, or if they are both accurate, tell me how you know that. All right, then this question number 5 is a meeting that you need to have in your work context. So if you naturally do meetings, so let's say you're doing a toolbox talk, or you're doing a shift handover, or you are doing a change of specific policy, and you are going to run the meeting. Then I want you to firstly identify the purpose and objective of that meeting, write that down. Prepare a full agenda for the meeting that you're going to have and attach the agenda. Identify and describe the physical arrangements that must exist for this meeting to take place. So, do you need a venue? Do you need a flip chart? Do you need people to have handouts? Do you need to be in a quiet place? Do you need to set a time? Does everyone need a copy of the agenda? So, what are those things that they require? Then list the attendees for the meeting. Okay, justify their importance. So who did you invite and why did you invite them? Then you are going to make sure that you follow your agenda when having this meeting, that you make sure that there are basic rules and structures so that the meeting is going to be, sort of successful and flows quite well. And then techniques are used to create progress. Then someone is going to, again, they're going to evaluate you on how you did. So the evaluation checklist is on page number 17. And on page number 17, your manager or someone of a level higher than you needs to evaluate you on how you ran that meeting. So again, this is your name, your ID number, the company you work for, the date and time that you had this meeting. Someone will then evaluate you on how you conducted that meeting. They might make some general comments. They'll also put a date down, when you started and when you finished. And then your manager or someone of a rank higher than you will put their names, their signatures, and that will show that you are competent in running a meeting. Then, once you've done that, you need to record the meeting and write draft minutes. So they must summarize discussions, actions proposed, and defined completion timeframes. So it needs to have action plans, and it needs to summarize the agenda points that you kept to. Put those in your POE. Again, don't overdo it. Keep it short, keep it simple. Don't have more than 3 or 4 points that you are talking to. Then explain how you're going to check the minutes in order to ensure that they are accurate and complete reflections of the meeting discussions. So, did you record it? Are you going to share the minutes and ask people for feedback? Are you going to ask your manager for feedback in terms of your minutes? Then review the meeting and make suggestions for improvement. Attach the review and suggestions in your POE. So you can really just make a list of what you think you should have done better. So maybe I should have taken control, or maybe I should have shown everyone the agenda a little bit earlier, or I needed to get people to prepare, or I should have not run every element of the agenda. I should have given over certain elements to certain people. Up to you in terms of how you think you could have done it better. But guys, once you have done that, then you are complete with unit standard 242 816 242 816.